Today I want to show you a tool to use in order to avoid some common pitfalls when you are working on a research paper. So commonly, you'll find all these articles that relate to your topic, but it's very difficult to organize ideas. It's very difficult to take notes on what you're reading so that you can use them later without a lot of effort. And I find that without some kind of organization to this, you end up highlighting and reading a whole bunch of papers. And then when you go back to actually start writing your papers, you can't remember what you read where, and it's very difficult to group your ideas into a meaningful paragraph. So this tool that I want to show you can really help you and make your researching much more efficient. It can also help you avoid plagiarism because when we don't summarize our ideas, we end up having our sources used almost to exact in a paper. And plagiarism is a big deal. You don't want to write information that was not yours originally without citing it correctly, but you also don't want to use their information too close to the way they used it in their paper, or else you're plagiarizing that way. So this tool can both keep you organized and help you avoid plagiarizing. So what you're looking at is a reference organizer. And what I've done here at the top is I've listed my overarching research question. In the example on your semester project, I put, how would lynx be affected by patch cuts of beetle-killed lodgepole pine in northern Colorado? So if that's my research project, I'm probably not going to find a lot of literature on that exact question, and I need to break it down into smaller sub-questions, which I also outlined in your semester project information sheet. So I've copied those questions here. What forest types are lynx using in Colorado? Do lynx avoid any structure types of forest? And how do lynx respond to patch cuts in other forest types? Now, what I do now is I pick a paper that I want to read. Perhaps I'm going to check out this article that you read earlier, Areas of High Habitat Use from 99 to 210, blah, blah, blah. All I need to do here is go, okay, my authors were Theobald and Schenk, and it was in 2011. And so I come back in here, and under sources, I write Theobald and Schenk 2011. And as I'm now reading this article, I can go through, and anytime I find information that relates to one of those sub questions that I've asked, I can write it in each cell. So I'm going to make that up here without actually rereading this paper. But let's say I find in this article that lynx were using spruce and fir forest 90% of the time. And you want to be fairly specific, but make sure again that whatever you write here in this cell, you don't plagiarize. Do not copy it word for word. If you summarize it once, right here from what the original article said, and then when you go to write your paper, you summarize it again, you're going to have a pretty good chance that you haven't plagiarized the source. And remember here too, these are your notes. You want to be as concise as possible. I don't need a complete sentence. I could just put lynx using spruce fir forest 90% of the time. Maybe as I read on, I find that lynx avoided openings greater than, let's see, no, that wouldn't be where I'd want to put that. Lynx avoided openings falls under here. So avoided openings greater than 2 hectares, maybe. I'm making this information up, remember. Do lynx avoid structure types? I don't know if I've read anything about that, but I do know that lynx, I found in this article that lynx prefer dense cover for denning. Okay, that's kind of related there. And so I can go in and I can add in any other information I find. Maybe I find that lynx use lodgepole when available. Maybe I found that lynx avoid a certain veg type. So I'm going to put anything I find related to what forest types are links using in Colorado in this cell. Then I might go in and I might read another article. Maybe it's Smith from 2014. And because that one maybe is common, I could even remind myself what the article is. I could say something like links in Maine or something. And maybe this article really focused on clear cuts. So I might not have any information about forest types in Colorado because this study took place in Maine. I might have some information about structure types. I might find that links avoided young stands. I might find that links avoided mature stands without undergrowth. So I'm going to add that in there. But really, maybe the majority of the information I find from this article has to do with how they responded to patch cuts. So I might say that links abundance in clear cuts was greatest from 5 to 25 years after the cut. I might find that links density declined in stands that were older than 50 years. And I'm going through and I find all this information related to doing little patch cuts or clear cuts in lynx habitat. And so it's okay if I don't have any information on one or more of these questions, because this article might have been a lot of information about one of the questions. I go in and I find another article. Schenck has a bunch of articles, so maybe I do another one from her. And maybe there's a whole lot of information about what habitat type links are using in Colorado again. So now I go to write my paper, and basically I already have it organized. I can just go down the list from all of these different sources, and I have already organized it into what forest types links are using in Colorado. I could write a whole section now just from this information, and every time I cite one of these pieces of information, I can easily hammer in my source, Theobald and Schenck or Smith 2014, and I can do my in-text citations correctly in the right place with the right information. Then I'm ready to do my next section of the paper, and I have this already done. Now, you can print out as many of these charts as you want. You can make as many questions as you want. You can tape them together and end up with a big massive chart that's maybe 8 down and 8 across, and you can keep everything organized as you go. These types of organizational patterns are really, really important for making sure that your writing is concise, it's accurate, and it's well organized. Good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.